We know the clay and the soils in the center of Syracuse are really tricky.
He says the state would need to test what the exact soil conditions are and if it can support the tunnel option.
We don't know. They may come back and say can't do it. They may come back and say we can do it, but here's how you got to do it. We don't know.
The tunnel has to figure out if they can go underneath that and not tamper or damage the foundations on our current buildings in the city.
Tunnel critics also doubt how the tunnel and the ideal community grid option could coexist.
If you're looking at a deep tunnel, you have to be able to get into it and get out of it, and I'm concerned about how that disrupts the street grid and the neighborhoods around it.
Those same critics say ramps coming in and out of the tunnel could limit how many structures could be built. It would also mean additional buildings would have to be demolished.
And selfishly for me as the city mayor, more property off of the tax rolls.
And the city of Syracuse is very, very far from being self-sustainable. Currently, about 53% of our property is tax exempt. The universities are tax exempt. The hospital is tax exempt.
An independent study on the possibility of a working tunnel found that if officials select the option, 12 buildings need to go. The other I-81 options would also include demolitions. A rebuilt viaduct would demolish 24 buildings. A grid would demolish 5, while at the same time allowing for new space for construction.
What our report showed is about 18.6 acres of land that could be opened up if the DOT gave us back some of the right-of-way they don't need to do the community grid option.
Parking lots could turn into apartment buildings. Parts of the current highway footprint turned into retail stores.
We came up with a growth where if you developed one city block, you could gain about $3.4 or $3.5 million per year on the city and county tax revenues for that property.
When you take into account the grid option opens up 13 blocks, there would be a possible $48 million in additional tax revenue. It's far from a definite, but for the common councilor, it's an opportunity he hopes the city doesn't pass up.
Our gap in budgeting is some years $5-6 million. If we were getting another 10 million, 20 million from thriving economic growth that could potentially be built up around the grid, then it could be a huge game changer.
I'm concerned that all of that development could have the effect of gentrifying the community, raising the price of living and forcing people on the south side of the city to leave their homes. That's a story we hope to bring you soon.